Hi, my name is Peter Harmathy, and I'm here in Anton Mills, Ontario, standing in front of the Double Door Studios and Gallery with Michael Coughlin. Michael Coughlin is the owner of this studio, and he'll be talking to us about his enterprise and why he decided to convert this into a studio and gallery. But I want to mention that this is live streamed directly to YouTube, so if you're tuning in right now, you will see live stream with all the mistakes and everything. That's the whole idea of this. But otherwise, you'll be seeing it archived. So, here's Michael Coughlin. And actually, do you mind standing in front of the... Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Oh, okay, yeah.
Okay.
Good morning, Peter. Yes.
Okay. Michael, obviously, you took a barn and you converted it into a studio. Could you tell me a little bit about the history of it and why you decided to do this?
Yes, I could. This is a family inheritance. This is our farm here. So it's quite a privilege in the sense that I didn't have to buy this building, but I worked as a carpenter. And so with a friend that I studied with at York University, we decided to make studio spaces in here, which we did over the course of 3 summers, renovated the lower part of it. So it developed as basically studios, but then the central area took on its own life as a gallery, a showing area. We're making artwork, so it made sense to show it. And so that's what we did. And that happened back in basically 1990 was when the renovations were finished.
Wow. Can we walk us into the gallery? Let's take a look, and I'll ask you a few more questions. So let's go on.
Yeah.
We're still rolling, so you can keep going.
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, part of the story of this barn is that this is a second location. This barn, the upper portion of it originally was in North York, and the barn that was part of the farm was a wood-sided barn that burned down in the early 50s, and then my father and contemporaries of his at that time went down to North York. They dismantled this barn, and I don't know how they got it up here, but they got it up here. I was literally just about 4 years old at that time, so I don't remember that part of the story.
Okay,
but yeah.
let's walk into the gallery.
Okay, well,
that's fine. So obviously it's empty right now. We could tell by the echo, but tell us what your idea was and what goes on here, and when you started your first show here.
Well, okay, let me explain that our season is from basically the 1st of April to the end of November, and now we're in December, so so I'm closed for the season now, mainly because I have snow issues to deal with, and we don't get people out here. We're out in a small village, so it really becomes a destination drive to come here to this gallery. And in terms of the space, as I say, the studios are all in the 4 corners, and this area was just left over, and it became storage initially. But then I built these faults, like this hanging wall and this little wall, and there's a stairwell in behind there. So it took on its own life in terms of just its design and layout.
Could you just walk me through and show us a little more of the space, because this camera here can't show how vast it is. So just keep walking and just...
Okay, yeah. So coming in, this is your main feature wall. So I figured that we always consider that the strong wall. And then in the back here, this wall down here also, in terms of walking in, becomes a strong wall. So we generally feature the strong work on those. And then in the back here, we just created a little, I don't know if we want to call it a cafe, but at least a coffee bar, I guess we'd say. Because in this space, which was formerly a studio space, but I'm trying to create a little gathering room for events. You know, I have a group of photographers that come in and have a discussion of a critique of their work once a month, and I like to do more of that.
Could you show me the potter's room too? Or
yeah, we'll do that. So again, as I say, the studio spaces, we'll go around here. I got some tools to store. So in this space, we have Roy Hickling, who's a musician, sculptor, painter. He's against that. And then over here, in the washrooms here, there's 5 ladies that rent this space, and potters. They have a kiln in behind that door there, and each have a little separate space within here. And they always have a show as part of my schedule, the last one of the year generally.
Now, could you tell me about the gallery? Now, you did convert it, you said, back in the 90s, right? When
Yes.
did you actually start exhibiting it as an artist space?
Well, that's a good question in the sense, to tell the truth, I don't know. It just seemed to take on its own life. It was somewhere in the 90s. And just for our number, I generally say around 97. It wasn't right initially. But I don't have any records in terms of pinning it down to a definite date.
Okay, well, tell me about this gallery space here. Let's move out so we can get you more in the sunlight here.
Yeah.
Tell me about the gallery space and the kind of artists that it attracts and how it differs from other galleries in Barrie. Because we're in Anton Mills, so we're a little bit outside of Barrie, but
That's right.
still, it's a location.
Yeah, I can be in Barrie in 15 minutes from here. Well, basically, not that again I have anything written down, but the way I think of it in terms of a mandate is that I like to show Simcoe County artists. It has not been exclusively that because of circumstances. Actually, we've had a couple international shows. Had a gentleman, Wilfred from Germany, but that was, a connection of sorts. I like contemporary work in particular. I don't really evaluate the work in terms of my dislike. I like to show artists that I feel are committed. That's what I really look for. I don't look at the art per se. I look at sort of their process and whether they're hobbyists, which I don't really want. I want committed artists. So that's how I make those determinations.
Now, I just get the volume up here a bit. Now, you're an artist yourself, so when did it first occur to you? What was your employment before you decided to get into this full time? You do part-time carpentry or
Yes,
work and so on.
Yeah.
But you decided to go into full time. Obviously, you're an artist, so tell me a little bit about your art, or is it any possibility of being able to see some of your art?
Well, okay, we haven't entered this space. This is the last studio space. This is my space. So come on in here, and it just so happens I have a finished piece on the wall. So here, this is literally I just finished this 2 days ago.
Okay.
So
could you stand in front of it, just talk a little bit about it, if you will?
Well, it's okay. Well, just in terms of its formal qualities, these are actual puzzles, which I purchase at secondhand stores or whatever, and then I assemble, and they're glued on. The surface is sanded off, and then I start to work it in terms of adding color, sanding away, and whatnot, and whatever. And then in terms of how I read this, I'm not too sure of that right yet. That's why it's still sitting on the wall. Is that I'm living with it for a little while and letting it speak to myself or whatever. So yeah, that's
okay. Well, we won't continue any more on this. We'll get back to you at some point because it's a really interesting endeavor that you have here.
okay.
So I'm going to just turn this camera towards me, and I'll just mention that you can subscribe to my channel, my YouTube channel. I don't know if the button is down there, up there, or you could click the arrow button if you want to share this with someone else. But otherwise, we'll close it at this point right now. And thank you for watching, and stay tuned for the next live broadcast. Thanks a lot. Bye now.